Hi, I'm Phil Adams. Welcome to Stevenage. I'm the business lead for the northern region. I've been working with Affinity Water now for almost 35 years.
Well, Phil, thank you very much for hosting us here today in Stevenage. Perhaps you can just say where we are. This is the Stevenage site.
Yep, this is the Stevenage depot. It's been here for as long as I can remember. Its formal name is Brooming Green, and we're located just off of Argyle Way. And it's a wonderful site that has a great mixture of departments and people across what is a relatively small site.
Well, shall we go in?
Absolutely.
Lots of buzzers to press and a big gate.
That's it. Through you go, and welcome.
Oh, that's
Quite the clunk, isn't it?
It is quite a clunk. You said you've got a few assets on this site. Perhaps you can explain to our listeners what they are.
So yeah, absolutely. So what we could do is, the site consists of a number of departments. We have a sample centre here, based here. We have a water quality team based here as well. We also have a network team. The network team consists of the field technicians. We also have a small leakage team here as well. We also have a planning team located here. So as you can begin to imagine, we have quite a variety on the site, but also we have a significant production team located here as well. And we also have some significant production assets. We have both the Brooming Green borehole, situated sort of centre of the entire site, and then we have some treatment works located here as well, ensuring the water is fit for human consumption before going off into distribution and feeding into the wider town of Stevenage.
Now, the borehole, is it a very old one, isn't it? Or quite old in terms of how long it's been an asset of Affinity Waters?
Yeah, the borehole's been here for many years. In fact, it dates back to 1934.
Wow, and it's still functioning today.
And it's still functioning today, yes. It's a wonderful bit of kit. It's a lovely old building. It really is the centrepiece of the whole site.
Now let's walk towards it, should we?
Sure.
It's brick, it's oblong, and I think the date is also on it.
It is. The date is just held above the door. It's 1934 in
A blue door.
A blue door in bold letters, yes, for all to see.
And it's supplying Stevenage today.
Yeah, it provides some of the water for the residents of Stevenage, absolutely, and it has been doing so for many, many years.
Good
morning, Anton.
You've also got, as you mentioned earlier, a water treatment works here. You make sure the water quality is top-notch.
Absolutely, yeah, that's all very heavily regulated. I can't possibly go into the detail, but yeah, our water treatment works here makes absolutely certain that the water that leaves this site is of the right standard, is entirely satisfactory and fit for human consumption, yes, and we take great pride in that across the whole business.
And what are some of the processes involved in testing water quality?
Well, again, the water is sampled regularly here at the site funnily enough, by the people that are located in the sample centre, but also we do sampling of assets such as the Pin Green Tower and Reservoir located in the centre of Stevenage. There is a regular regime in place to ensure that all of those sites are monitored in accord with what has been determined. But also we take a number of samples from customers' houses as well as we go about our general day-to-day business. But also similarly, when we isolate and shut down water mains, part of the return to service of any water main also requires us to take a bacteriological and physical sample of the water to ensure that it is wholly representative of the works that have been completed.
And Affinity Water scores highly in terms of water companies and water quality, doesn't it?
It does. It scores very well indeed, and I think we have an excellent water quality department here, and we have the fantastic sampling team here at Stevenage, and all credit to them. But also, all of our operational teams are extremely conscious of water quality and maintaining the very highest standard of water quality that we possibly can at all times.
Yep. Well, as you can see, we're surrounded by the Affinity Water vans taking care of your water. They're blue and very prominent on this site too. So presumably you also go out and deal with other issues as they arrive.
Yeah, we do. We deal with planned and unplanned issues. So we are dealing with emergencies. So, for example, we've got one just this morning. We've got a burst main in Royston that's flooding into a basement of a property. That's going to involve a road closure in the town centre. But equally, we assist customers with poor pressure, with locating stop taps. A job that you're going to see today is a small piece of mains diversionary work. Again, that diversion is taking place for the purposes of water quality and the preservation of water quality and maintaining of supply for our customers. So there is a very broad variety of activities that we participate in, including general maintenance. So, for example, we participate in mains walking. We have proactive flushing of mains underway to remove any particulate that may exist within the pipe, and so on and so forth. So yeah, there's an awful lot of things that we do. We provide assistance for reservoir and tower outages as well. We provide a lot of assistance to them to ensure that those towers and reservoirs can be taken out with minimal disruption to our customers and to our network.
If need be.
If need be, yeah. So it's a very broad variety of stuff that we do day to day.
Now, I know you've been with Affinity Water.
It's nearly 35 years, so quite some time, yeah.
And people don't realise how diverse a career in the water industry is.
They don't. I mean, I started as an apprentice, as a trainee inspector. There was a small cohort of us that joined at the same time. And then I've worked in various areas across the business, including the contact centre. I've worked as a project manager on some above ground projects as well as below ground projects. I've been very fortunate in that I've had such a great variety, and now all of it's culminated in me as being business lead for the Northern region. I've got a great team around me. The guys are all super, so I feel very lucky. And so here I am.
And Affinity Water still offers apprenticeships today?
Yes, it does. That's correct. So we have a number of apprentices within community operations who are going through the training. Yes, and our training department provide tremendous assistance in making that happen. Yes.
So Phil, where are we off to?
We're off to Sachem.
Well, let's go.
Yep.
Hi Phil, we're here then.
We're just on the outskirts of Sachem village.
Hi Phil.
Hi Phil.
Hi guys.
Who have we here?
Leon Chandler, I'm a customer service technician.
I'm Rob King, I'm a regional operations manager.
Alex Hayton, I'm the head of community operations.
Tom Stoughton, regional operations manager.
Right, well thank you for talking to me today. And what are we going to see, Alex?
We've got one of our repair teams working to move a main from inside the riverbed, so that's what we'll see today.
And let's just stop and talk to Leon for a minute, because I know he's got to get off. Leon, how did you get into the water industry? Why did you want to work in it?
I got a job through a friend basically, and I started off on the dig teams, digging, and I basically learnt my way from there.
And have you acquired qualifications as you've gone along?
Yes, I've got qualifications that I've gone on over the past 13 years.
13 years you've been in the water
13
industry.
years, yeah.
And why do you like working in it?
For Affinity, it's a very good company. No day's the same, and you meet new people every day, and I enjoy that aspect of the job.
Is there problem solving involved?
Yeah, there's a lot of problem solving involved each day. No day's the same, and each job brings its own different task.
And what about the sense of team? There seems to be quite a lot of spirit amongst you. You seem to like working together.
Yeah, we're a very good team. Everyone chips in and helps out. It's a great environment to work in.
And the qualifications you've got, what are they?
Obviously, you need all the water hygiene qualifications and just stuff over the years from digging.
And no 2 days the same. So just talk us through one of your days. What would you be doing? You'd be out on site.
Yes, like for instance, after I leave here, I have a pressure investigation job. So we'll go to a customer's house and check the pressure. Afterwards, I've got an investigation of a leak, a supply pipe leak. So the customer believes they've got a leak on the supply. So like I said, no job's the same. Each one brings its own different task.
Affinity Water is very much customer focused. So you've really got to get down to, you've got to make sure you deal with that issue quickly.
Yes, very. We deal with things very promptly and quickly, and we get to a solution best for everybody as fast as we can.
And if you get stuck, do you go and ask the team for their advice?
Yeah, my boss is Rob King, and he's always very helpful if needed. And like I said, the team itself, we all help each other out when and where we can.
And would you recommend other people doing qualifications in water and coming into the industry?
Me personally, it's a good industry to be in, and I've learnt a lot over the years, and very valuable information I've picked up. So yeah, I would say definitely it's definitely an industry I would like to be in, and recommend it to others.
Well, let's get off, and thanks for sparing your time
No
and talking
problem
to
at all.
us.
Thank you very much. Have
Bye.
a good day. Bye-bye.
So, Tom, we're walking down this country path. Just tell me what we see in front of us.
We've got a 3-inch and a 6-inch main in this excavation. We're currently diverting the 3-inch main so it doesn't go into the riverbed anymore.
And how far down have you dug?
We've dug about 1.2 metres, and as you can see we put the Eris fencing up to make it safe so all the customers and pedestrians are safe if they're walking around.
And how long will this work last, and how important is it?
It's been in the planning for a couple of weeks now, but this work will be done and dusted by Friday.
And how did you get to work in the water industry and for Affinity Water? Tell us a little bit about your career history.
My career started, I suppose, when I was very young. My dad's always been in the water industry, so I would go with him in the van.
It's father and son.
Absolutely, but he doesn't work at Affinity Water, he works somewhere else. But I've been on Affinity for 3 years now working, so yeah, and I really enjoy it.
And did you do an apprenticeship?
No apprenticeship. I was one of the digging teams. I started off digging, and then got a job as network technician, and then here I am now as a regional operations manager. And
presumably you had to do water qualifications.
Yeah, I've done my street works, and I suppose you serve a bit of an apprenticeship when you're learning off somebody when you're starting out. So yeah, I've always been learning, peer-to-peer learning more for me.
Now, this was a planned work, but often you have to deal with incidents that are unplanned. That's a lot of pressure, isn't it?
It's a lot of pressure, but something that I quite enjoy. So yeah, it's a lot of pressure, but 9 times out of 10 we come out on top. So that's always. But when we don't, we try and make the best of a bad situation. That's all we can do.
And how important is teamwork?
It's everything. Yeah, teamwork. I love working with my colleagues and my team all the time, and our wider team with our contracting partner CLC. It's great.
And you've got a smile on your face. You enjoy your work. Is there variety in it?
Every day's different. Every job is different. I think I've got a plan for a job, and then we dig down or we go and do something and it changes. So it's always about thinking, and no 2 jobs are ever the same.
Problem solving.
Absolutely love it.
Yeah, well, let's go and see what the rest of the team are doing.
Perfect.
Hi. Let's go through and just step over this. Hi. Good to catch up with you. So, Rob, just tell me what we're looking at.
That's a 180mm MDPE main, and that's an existing 3-inch main that with a valve in it that we're going to cut and cap up here and abandon.
And how important is this work?
Well, basically, future-proofing is you don't want a main running through a riverbed. For contamination risks, if it does burst, we can get some suction into the water. Or basically, another problem is with a main running through a riverbed. Sometimes you'll never spot it, especially in the winter when the river's flowing. It'll make it a struggle to find. So the best thing is to get it out.
So the emphasis is on water quality all the time.
Yeah, water quality for the environment and to protect our customers as well.
And how did you get into the water industry? Have you worked for Affinity for long?
Yeah, I've been here 26 years next month. So I started in Hemel Hempstead when I was working on the teams as part of a 2-man team as a gang, and I worked in Hemel for about 3 or 4 years, and I moved to Essendon, then Stevenage. I've basically, for some reason, I've moved all over the Affinity Water Company, which is a good thing for experience. I've been in Rickmansworth, Luton, and then we had field technicians, which was like a new way of working where you had one man working on his own. I got the field technician role, I've done that for a couple of years, and then I worked in Rickmansworth as a CST, a customer service technician like Leon.
And the skill sets, the training, it never stops, does it?
The training the company give you is really good, and then we do the e-learning. But it's experience more than anything, and it's the different roles in the different departments in the different areas that you gain experience from, and you gain by working with different people. And customers, in our world, customers are changing every couple of years and their needs and the things we've got to do, so we have to evolve with them.
Now, as I said, this is a planned work, but often you're dealing with unplanned incidents. Is that a lot of pressure?
It's not a lot of pressure. You're just, with unplanned, unplanned happens a lot to us. So even though it is unplanned, we put things in place to make unplanned events in our world not seem unplanned, because if a burst in a certain place, we would have had it before. We know historical data through the way we've shut it before. We know what we've got to get a standard, what we've got to get rolling quick. So we got our structures in place to make even an unplanned event in a sort of strange way. It's like we sort of plan unplanned events.
And how important is the team and knowing the team you're working with?
Oh, the team's important. Like across the board, from the teams on the ground, from the teams you see doing the repairs, our contractor CLC, the CSTs you work with, and on standby we might be working with other CSTs from other areas, and then it's like Phil's role and Alex's role. But one of the important things about us now is our network desk. We've got eyes on that help the people on the ground and help the people working 24/7. If it weren't for the team, we wouldn't get where we get going. So.
And what about the problem-solving element?
This is a prime example of a main under a river. If we had a large burst here, we'd struggle to find it. So even then, with problem solving, the thing about problem solving is, like when we got a major burst, it's the calls that other people make, like Phil or someone from the network desk, because you think you've got everything covered, right? You think, right, I've got this, and then someone will say something, oh, have you done this? And you go, I'm on like, yes, yes, yes. And then they say, have you done this? And it's then one little gem, so you think, oh no, I haven't. And that's the good thing, because you think you've got it, and then it's just where someone else is thinking separately and they're away from the event, they can think of the wider picture. But sometimes it's them little things you miss. If you don't catch them then, that can cause a lot of issues down the line. So, yeah, that's part of the team.
Yeah, well, here's the team leader, Alex. Hello. How important is it to you to come out and see what's going on the ground and to know what the guys are working on?
Yeah, it's really important. So, as you know, Affinity Water's geographical area is quite vast. So to get out to all the jobs is, of course, impossible. But to come out and see some of the jobs like this one, it's great to see that the team are dealing with an incident like this where it's just their business as usual. So this is obviously started as an unplanned incident. A main's been damaged, but the team haven't just fixed it and moved on to the next job. They've then looked at what can we do next. So this whole piece of work is now about the mitigation to prevent future incidents. And of course, the key to that is making sure we don't have more customers where their water goes off.
And how did you get to work in the water industry and, to head a team like this?
So I've been in the industry now just over 20 years. I've been with Affinity Water 15 years. I actually started, I was actually working a summer job at Pontins Holiday Park, and my brother-in-law worked for Thames Water in the leakage world, and he asked me if I'd like a job working with him. This was on a Friday, and on a Saturday I was in London, not really sure what I was doing and trying to find leaks. So from there I, with what was Thames Water at the time, done an awful lot of training, done a 3-year, almost like an apprenticeship programme, and then I joined part of Affinity Water over in the East region 15 years ago. And since then, through all of the training that Affinity provides, I've slowly progressed my career up to what is now the head of. I think Rob was saying a moment ago that the key to it isn't actually always the training itself, it's the experience. A lot of these incidents we deal with day in, day out, it's the experience. And in honesty, it's not just the experience, it's the commitment from the team to want to do it right. They want to come out, they want to help our customers. Because as we've said before, everything we do, no matter what element of the business it is, the customer is at the heart of what we do. Of course, we want to put our teams to work safely. We want to make sure that the customer's at the heart of what they're doing whilst everyone's going home unharmed. But I think we worked it out the other day at the Long Service Awards. We've got thousands of years of experience between the team. And the great thing is we all collaborate, we all work together. What we got here, we've got the business lead for the region, we've got 2 of his regional managers, all working together to make sure that this issue is resolved. And I think what customers don't see as well is they'll quite often look out when they see an incident and they'll see a couple of people in the street not doing anything, and they'll be, why isn't our water on? Why aren't you doing anything? What they don't realise is there's such a huge amount of work that goes into it in the background from a contingency perspective. So yes, there might be 2 people waiting to work, but there's probably another 10 people in our control operations, in our hydraulic modelling departments, in our water quality departments, all looking with the regional managers at, wait a minute, how can we best resolve this issue? Because the repair isn't actually our primary concern. It's getting the water back on. That's the primary. Then we worry about the repair. And there's different ways we do that, as you've probably spoken to Phil earlier about. We've got various different types of innovation that we can use to ensure the water's on. It's not always a case of repair. Sometimes it's isolate, get the water on, then repair.
And report back to the network so they could report back to the customer.
Absolutely, yes. So again, I say about our supporting functions, our hydraulic modellers, our water quality engineers. We have our control operations. But yes, of course, we also have our internal comms team, and we work very closely with them to ensure whatever happens, we are constantly updating our customers so they know throughout the journey of an incident, they know what's happening. We should be telling them, they shouldn't be contacting us.
And your key workers, you've got key worker prominently on your jacket.
I mean, the unfortunate last couple of years that the country's gone through with COVID, it's been tough for many people in the country. But we are key workers, and COVID was difficult. It affected us from, of course, people have to isolate, we have to protect our workforce, like I said. But we are a key service. We have to continue working. Throughout the whole of COVID, all of our teams were still working 24/7. We were still aiming to ensure whatever happens, if a customer goes to their tap, water comes out. That is what we're here to do. We're here to ensure our customers have a continuous service of wholesome drinking water.
And I know that Affinity Water scores highly in terms of water quality. That's so important.
Take this job that Tom and Phil and Rob have brought us out to see today. There was an incident, there was a burst, but now what they're doing is they're looking at it from a future-proofing to protect the water quality. We're diverting a section of main that is in what can become a flooded riverbed. The thing of water quality is we sell one product as a business. We sell water. We are a food manufacturer, and we have to ensure, like if you go into any food industry, you will see the cleanest, strictest regulations, people wearing all the appropriate attire, using the right cleaning products. That's what we do. We sell a food product, water, and we have to ensure that water is fit for purpose at all times, and that, from a water quality perspective, for us means wholesome drinking water.